Welcome everybody to the Jordy Max Show, brought to you by MaxLawns.com. For all your lawn maintenance needs, check out MaxLawns.com. Summer's coming up.
It's here. I'm going to say it's here. I'm calling it. Right now. Podcast only. If you mention the Jordy Max Show podcast and you're in Sherwood Park and you're looking for lawn mowing, we will do your lawn mowing for $35 per week. But you have to mention the Jordy Max Show. Continue, sir.
We are here talking about NHL playoffs, round 2. Almost every single round is set except one.
Part 2.
5 o'clock Mountain, so pretty much once this episode goes out, or it's going to be mid-game probably. St. Louis Blues, Winnipeg Jets, Game 7. Who wins, Shanzi? Who do you got?
Boy. If you asked me this question 10 days ago, I had Winnipeg going over St. Louis, just because St. Louis's depth isn't as strong. I had Winnipeg just walking. They had a better goaltender. Their defense is very good, and their forward depth is unreal. But St. Louis is like a little toddler that when you tell him no, he throws a temper tantrum. And so we got guys like Jordan Binnington, who's been absolutely unreal since the Four Nations face-off. You got a whacked-out defense that's all injured in St. Louis, stepping up, and you have maybe, I want to say, 4 decent forwards on St. Louis, and they're all coming together, working their butts off. So, you know what? I'm still going to say Winnipeg. Just because they're the better team on paper. But I would not be shocked if St. Louis pulled it out of the bag.
So, I was with you 10 days ago. I had the Winnipeg Jets. But now that I've seen that they have playoff Hellebuck, who is horrible. He is practically playoff Stuart Skinner. Sucks. I got the St. Louis Blues. I got the St. Louis Blues pulling it off.
Guess we'll find out.
Okay, let's just one more thing here. Your boy is still the Jordy Mac Show predictions champion. Controversial.
I call BS.
Our tiebreaker didn't count because we both got it wrong. We tied. And still your predictions champion.
This guy's the worst champion I've ever
1
seen
year. 1 year long reign.
Every time there's a tie. Every time.
And still?
We'll see.
Okay. And I think we said at the start of this that playoffs are not counting towards predictions?
Correct. Stanley Cup final will.
Okay, fair. Let's recap round 1.
Well, let's rip through it. Dallas and Colorado, absolute banger. Who would have thought that Dallas would come out?
A lot of people did. I had Colorado though.
I had Colorado.
I thought that Colorado was going to make it to the conference, to be honest. But nope, Dallas came out in Game 7.
Okay, next one.
Let's do Vegas, Minnesota.
Okay.
Vegas pretty much walked right through.
Yeah.
Yeah, they walked them.
I honestly wanted... Here's the thing. I want Vegas because I know that the Oilers can beat Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
But I wanted Minnesota just for Fleury's story.
I agree. I wanted Minnesota, but I thought Vegas was still going to win.
But Edmonton can't beat Minnesota. Minnesota, for some reason, ever since they came into the league, has always had the Oilers' number. And I would be terrified to see Minnesota, especially if they made it past Vegas. Because
yeah,
I think Minnesota would turn into a wagon immediately.
Yeah. Vegas walked right through them, though.
They did.
And Okay, let's go to the East here. We'll leave the Oilers to last.
All right. Well,
Toronto, Ottawa.
I'm
Shock.
shocked. I really, really, really was pulling for Ottawa.
So let's just say this: Toronto went up 3-0. Ottawa came back, won 2 games in a row. We were all like reverse sweep incoming, and then Toronto actually won.
Well, I'll tell you something.
3 of their games went to overtime.
Terrible. I don't know. Toronto's good. All of a sudden, their goalie's good. I don't understand. Whatever. Here's
They got lucky.
the reasoning why I wanted. Here's the reasoning why I wanted Ottawa. The reason why I wanted Ottawa was simply this. Whoever came out in the East goes through Florida.
Yeah.
So if Ottawa would have came out, Brady Tkachuk would have beat his brother's ass,
Yeah, that's fair.
which would have weakened, and probably half the rest of the team.
Yeah, because Ottawa, they're a team that grinds.
They work hard. They got Claude Giroux. They got all these guys that are
Yeah.
like just tough.
and they had a
hard-nosed.
goalie.
They're tough, hard-nosed, physical players, and they would have gave Florida a run for their money to the point where Florida probably wouldn't have had any gas. And then, honestly, I'm not worried about the other series,
Mhm.
but
And then Washington, Montreal. Washington just demolished them.
the story there is this ragtag group of kids coming together and making it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's the story.
But that was also the same thing with, like, Washington.
Right.
Nobody thought they'd make it to the playoffs at the start of the season.
No.
All of a sudden, these guys are second in the league and one of the best teams. Yeah, well, also because Alex Ovechkin carried them, but
Yeah.
um,
Well, so what are your thoughts on Montreal?
potential.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they could have won, but after that first game, I'm like, okay.
Especially that guy coming over from the KHL.
Oh yeah, the KHL Ivan Demidov.
Mm-hmm.
That guy's insane.
So, okay. So then let's get back to the
Carolina, New Jersey.
Carolina, New Jersey. What happened there?
Carolina's walked through him.
Well, why? I'm going to tell you why.
No Jack Hughes.
Yeah. Their top guy is done. Regardless, whatever.
Yeah,
Let's
that's
talk West Coast.
buns
Let's
everywhere.
talk West Coast.
They did it.
Poor Will Ferrell. Man, Will Ferrell, I feel so bad for this guy. This guy stands by his team, and every single year they get shit on. Every single year.
I saw a meme somebody put out, and it was Jim Hiller is playing checkers. Chris Knobloch is also playing checkers. Jim Hiller also does not know how to play checkers.
That's fair. Yeah. I think at one point one of them was playing Connect Four, maybe.
I think that was Jim Hiller.
How are you trying to win a Stanley Cup playoff game when you're putting a forward on defense?
Or trying to get a goal.
It don't matter. That don't matter. For at least
5 forwards and 1 defenseman because you pulled the goalie too.
Mm-hmm. For 60% of the game. It's not going to work.
What's your thoughts on the third period? I don't even know. It's like, what are you gonna do next time? I don't know.
Yeah, I
You
don't
sound like an idiot.
know. Yeah.
Then
Well,
I'd say LA needs to fire their coach.
it's not even the coach. Listen, at the end of the day, you can't go up against the 2 best players in the world and one of the best offensive defensemen
Mm-hmm.
in the league. You just can't go up against them with anything other than the neutral zone trap and hard nose. What happened was LA, the first 2 games, they ran the Oilers show physically.
Yeah.
But then guess what happens?
Calvin Pickard goes in net.
Evander Kane comes in.
John Klingberg comes back.
Klingberg looks like young, like Dallas Stars John Klingberg when they went to the Cup.
Evan Bouchard started playing a bit better.
I mean, on his side of the blue line, he's terrible.
Yeah.
On the other
but
side of the blue line,
he was
looks-
actually there.
no, on the other side of the blue line, he looks like Paul Coffey.
Yeah.
But on his side of the blue line,
He looks like freaking
and
Marc-Andre
never put Darnell Nurse and Evan Bouchard together.
Pairings are not switching. Lines are not switching for the next thing. Here's one thing I'm sad about.
Can I just throw something in there?
Yeah.
In reference to the lines, why would you switch it? Why would you change a winning
You were just
lineup?
saying don't put Bouchard and Nurse together, so I was just...
Yeah, but they don't put pairings.
Yeah.
They roll guys,
Yeah.
right?
One thing I will say is I'm very sad to see this, but I get it. Jeff Skinner played one game. This man has waited 1,000 games.
He got his playoff game. Now beat it. Next. Thank you. Next.
I think that they should at least... actually, it doesn't really have to. If he played over, I think it was 40 games in the regular season, which he did, he gets his name on the cup. So,
Cool.
yeah, perfect.
But I'm going to tell you something. The Oilers don't owe that man anything.
Yeah,
They gave him a shot after he was bought out,
fair.
right? He's in the twilight of his career. You know, they gave him a second chance, just like Kasperi Kapanen.
Yeah.
Right? Just like John Klingberg.
Kasperi Kapanen played well this year.
I mean, Tom Gazzola,
For a guy that got sent down on waivers and that we claimed,
there's a reason why.
he played great, I think.
Nah, he was just okay.
But for that reason,
He plays great for a guy that's just gonna, in the words of Tom Gazzola, he plays great for a guy that just skates around and does nothing. He skates 100 miles an hour, but what does he actually do?
not much.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
he's also like third or fourth liner.
So what? So is Corey Perry.
Here's what I will say.
So is Corey Perry.
Oh yeah, and he's playing.
Corey Perry's got 19 goals
Yeah.
on the season with 12 minutes or less per game. Let me finish my thought before you cut me off, okay? This is a prime example of what? Making the most of your opportunity. A lot of these guys, they come in, they're like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go out there. Klingberg, same thing, right? He was kind of dusty, but now you get him in a playoff situation. He's got a couple miles on the new hips under his belt,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, he looks like a brand new man. Evander Kane, same thing, brand new man.
Holy crap!
Yeah.
Evander Kane is playing so well.
Mhm.
This man was injured for a year.
Mm-hmm.
Got 2 surgeries. He's back. He's back. We need that physical side. Who would have thought a 39-year-old Corey Perry would be on the first line of the Edmonton Oilers in the Stanley Cup playoffs? I didn't.
Certainly not me. We got a cat situation down here.
Yes, our cat is acting up. Also, the fourth line of this team.
This is Hank. Say hi, Hank.
Meow.
He's a star.
The fourth line of this team, holy crap. Henrik, Janmark, and who the hell's Trent Frederick.
Mm-hmm. Well, how about Connor Brown?
1,000%.
1,000% what?
He's playing great.
But
Playing phenomenal.
here's my point about Connor Brown. Making the most of his opportunity,
1,000%.
right? You get Janmark, Connor Brown, Janmark in I think it was game 5 or game 6, closed it out.
Yeah.
He was on the ice with the big boys and he helped close it out.
Henrik had it.
Connor Brown, like how many empty net goals are they going to score in the playoffs?
Yeah.
I'm not
You
complaining.
know what's so insane? Matthias Janmark scored his first goal on a goaltender
Mm-hmm.
from a normal shot.
Yeah.
In the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. All right.
He didn't have a goal on a normal shot on a goaltender before that.
Right.
That's insane.
That's a wild stat. But at least he scored a goal, not like Toby Reeder. Remember that?
Oh my god.
All right. Second round. Let's go. We got Dallas versus who? This is the funny thing. We should be doing this episode tomorrow after we have the full second round complete.
We'll predict both. Here, we'll predict if
So,
it's Winnipeg.
okay,
We'll predict
I
if
got
it's
you.
St. Louis.
So if Dallas goes up against Winnipeg, Dallas is cooked.
Okay.
But if they go up against St. Louis, it's going to be very competitive.
Okay. I think if it's Dallas, Winnipeg gets swept.
Are you for real?
Connor Hellebuck is ass right now.
I don't care.
No,
I don't care.
No.
I'm
not going to say
I'm going to
swept.
throw this out there, okay? Do you remember, and I'm sure everyone out there remembers, right before the Four Nations, Dallas went into Winnipeg and got absolutely demolished, and so much so that they were chanting backup goalie, or no, it was U.S. backup. That's what they were chanting in Winnipeg. It was bad.
No, I don't think it's going to be a sweep.
It was a bloodbath.
I think it's going to be a very competitive series if it's Winnipeg-Dallas, and I think Dallas will come out with the win, though, in like 6 or 7.
So you got Dallas over Winnipeg?
Yes.
Okay.
If it's St. Louis, on the other hand.
So you think Dallas beats St. Louis? So
No.
we're reversed. Oh, no, you're sticking with... So either way, Dallas wins. Doesn't matter who they play.
You said you think Dallas beats St. Louis. I said no.
No, I didn't say that.
Yes, you did.
But no, I'm... Sorry. I'm asking you a question.
Do I think
Do you think Dallas beats Winnipeg?
Yes.
Do you think Dallas beats St. Louis?
No.
Okay, so we're the reverse.
Yes.
Because I think Winnipeg's going to completely destroy Dallas. And I don't know if St. Louis is going to win, but it'll be competitive.
Does anybody remember the Gloria run of 2019 with the St. Louis Blues? They were a wild card team.
So 6 years ago?
And they
Okay.
were, remember this. They were horrible at the start of the season. St. Louis all of a sudden becomes great. They're a wild card team. They're going to go on a run, I think.
That was also 6 years ago.
I don't know. Same goalie in net. He got sparked from the Four Nations.
We'll see.
Right?
We'll see. I think if Winnipeg wins, I think that'll give them enough confidence to come out on top.
Here's what I will say. You know what? No. St. Louis won't win.
Yeah, we spent way too much time on this series that doesn't affect
Either way,
us.
Dallas is going to win in 6 or 7.
Who's your pick?
Dallas.
Dallas, either way,
Yep.
doesn't matter what team.
Yep.
Okay, done. I got Winnipeg. And the other one I'm not going to call because I have no idea. So I'm going to call Winnipeg. Okay? If Winnipeg wins.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one.
Let's do the East top one.
Toronto, Florida.
Toronto, Florida.
Florida. Done.
Florida in 4.
No, you can't. Actually, they're going to sweep them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Florida demolished Tampa.
Okay.
They ran through them.
Tampa's a shell of their former self.
Still, they're Tampa.
Who are their top 5 players?
Gensel, Kucherov, Hedman, Vasilevsky, Point.
Uh-huh.
I could go on.
No.
Hagel.
Uh-huh. Okay. And then?
Sorelli.
Come on.
Yeah.
Okay.
McDonough.
Come on. Now you're grasping at straws. Now you're real. Jeez.
He's playing top 6 minutes.
So what? So was Connor
good.
Brown. So was Jeff Skinner playing top 6 minutes. Where did that get him? This is what I'm saying.
Got Nick
Doesn't
Hall
matter.
Stanley Cup.
Nah. Not this year. This is what I'm saying. Florida is a wagon. The team to beat in this entire playoffs
Is Florida.
is Florida.
Florida in 4 though.
Okay. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a tough series. I'm gonna say it's 5.
Actually, no. Florida in 5.
You can't change it. You make
No,
your pick. You make your
Florida
pick.
in 4. Florida in 4.
Once you make your pick, I'm saying Florida in 5.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it was 6. But I'm saying Florida in 5.
Okay. Washington and Carolina.
This is a tough one to pick. Because you have a better goalie in Carolina. But you have better...
I wouldn't say he's better.
You don't think so?
He's just had a good
Who do
run.
they even have in Washington?
Mike turned off. There we go. Logan Thompson. Charlie Lindgren.
Okay.
And I forget who the other guy
Yeah,
is.
exactly, right?
But
Who's the goalie in Carolina?
Pierre Kochetkov.
And?
A washed up Frederick Anderson.
Okay.
He's horrible. Yeah, our mic's dying.
That's okay. They can still hear us there.
pause. And we're back. Kochetkov is in net for Carolina. But
So Freddie Anderson hasn't played one game.
I didn't say that he hasn't played one game. I just said he's kind of washed.
How is he washed, though?
He's not good. He's not good.
Why, though? Tell me. Give me one reason why.
He's old. He's slow. He did not have a good record this year.
Why, though?
Because he didn't have a good record.
But they made it to the playoffs.
He was their backup.
Let's see how many games he's played in. He's played 4 games. He's
Four games.
4-0 in the playoffs.
That's not the playoffs.
That's not the playoffs?
He played 22 games in the season. Look at his save percentage.
Okay, let's look. Let's have a look. Save percentage 8.99. But in the playoffs, he's got a 9.36.
So
he's got 1.59 goals against
the New Jersey team, who's
so what?
Horrible.
Doesn't matter. And he's won 4 games.
Logan Thompson played phenomenal this year.
Are you sure this Kochetkov guy is their guy?
He was for the regular season.
Yeah, well, it looks like Freddie Anderson's the stud here.
But clearly I haven't been watching Carolina because they're irrelevant. Washington in 6.
I'm calling Carolina.
Bold prediction, but okay.
Carolina in 7. It's going to 7. That'll be the only 7-game series in the second round.
Okay.
It's Carolina.
I see.
And Washington.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm calling Carolina.
And last but not least, Oilers, Vegas.
I want to hear your bold prediction. Let's hear it.
So the Oilers are 2-1 against Vegas on the season. Won twice. 2 of them were like blowouts. Other one was very close game early in the season. Oilers in 6.
Okay. You want to hear my bold prediction?
What are you saying?
So, I got season tickets. Okay. And before each round, they go in and they charge my credit card. So, funny story was before LA,
yeah,
they charged my credit card for 3 sets of tickets, 3 games. Okay?
Huh.
Game 3.
Game 4.
Game 4.
And Game 6.
And Game 6. Okay?
Because those are the 3.
Okay. The second round, they only charged my credit card for 2 games. Don't know. So I'm calling it right now. The Oilers are going to sweep.
Or Oilers in 5.
I'm calling Oilers in 4.
Really?
The Oilers right now are so hot and they're so resilient and they're so far. Pickard is looking like a young Dwayne Rollison, and I'm telling you right now, the Oilers are going to win in 4. Oilers in 4.
That is a bold prediction.
With the caveat that one of those games goes into multiple overtimes. Now, I don't know if it's going to be Game 3 or Game 4. I really hope that it's Game 3 because that is the game that I'm going to go to.
I kind of want to go to that game now.
We'll see what happens. But I'm calling Oilers in 4. If I'm wrong, hey, shoot me. But the Oilers, I don't remember the last time they actually had a sweep. I want to...
Not my lifetime.
I don't even remember the last time they had a sweep.
Definitely not in my lifetime.
I'm going to research that. What are your thoughts about the upcoming Stanley Cup playoffs?
Here's what I'm going to say.
Okay.
Last series, I picked Oilers in 4. It was Oilers in 6. Shanzi picked Oilers in 6 last series, correct? Mm-hmm. This series, I pick Oilers in 6. Shanzi picks Oilers in 4. So I would not be surprised if Shanzi's right on this and the Oilers do sweep. And you know what? I would be so freaking happy if the Oilers swept.
That would be awesome.
That would be phenomenal. I'd be pumped. Because holy crap. That's insane. That's insane.
I'm trying to find this, but I can't find it. So I'm going to continue to look, and I will get the answer of when the last time the Oilers swept.
I checked that one. I saw
This one?
this thing here, right there. Can probably check and see what they have on there.
This is all Stanley Cup Final stuff. Yeah, it'd be interesting. I'm not too worried about Edmonton versus Vegas. I think that Vegas, they put all their eggs in one basket against Minnesota, because Minnesota is a tough ass team. They're very tough. Ryan Hartman is no joke.
Yeah, and Kaprizov plays great. So
guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
So guess what? Watch the games. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what you think about our predictions, and we want to hear what your predictions are. Hit us up on Instagram. What's the other one?
Instagram, TikTok. We're here on YouTube. Check out our Spotify.
Yep.
X, formerly known as Twitter. Everywhere.
Do your best Ed Whalen impression.
What's that?
Oh, God. Help this kid. In the meantime.
And in between time, stay classy, everybody. See you later.